to the thought bubble. Big energy. Yeah.
Calm the fuck down, you
I
TikToker.
was riffing off of the thing I was complaining about. Yeah. No. Yeah, welcome to the thought bubble. That's yeah, I'm
We're gonna
Stevie.
talk about random shit. We've already started, so I don't want to do an intro. I just want to start talking.
Okay. Fair enough.
There was
Go
a
ahead.
pre-show. You missed it. Um,
You get nothing. You
so
missed
we,
it
we were
all.
talking about nerd shit,
There
which I'm
is
not
no
going to get
ceiling.
into again. But it did remind me that at my work, I recently got a new job. I'm starting in pharmacy,
Hmm.
and um, I was talking to one of my friends from high school about like, oh hey, yeah, I might if I like how I'm doing in pharmacy and become a pharmacy tech, I might eventually try to become a whole pharmacist, because that just seems like my kind of shit. And my friend just responds with, "Oh, that makes sense. You like math." And I feel like that was said like a slur, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And I tried to combat it,
Do they
and
have
they
a
were just like,
military
"How many?"
haircut?
No,
Oh, okay, because that would have wrapped it all together.
they work in EMS, emergency medical services.
Oh,
Um,
okay. What? Okay. That's the
yeah,
opposite
it's
end
like
of
I
who
know
I thought
people.
would say like that. Yeah. No, I'm not
Yeah,
saying you
it's
don't. I'm just
because
saying,
we've
yeah,
known
the
each
bias.
other for so long. They
Yeah.
give me a lot of shit, but I tried to defend myself, saying it's like, oh, you know, I like math a normal amount, and then they asked me the heartbreaking question of how many theoretical math textbooks do you own, and is it more than zero? And I didn't want to answer that because it is more than zero, and I am a nerd and I do like math,
Yeah.
but I want to be cool.
Ashley, I want to tell you this, and I mean this in all complete honesty. Not only are you one of the coolest people I know, but also like you, like, you like math more than the average person, and that's great.
It can't be
That's we need.
possible.
We keep we keep
Everybody likes math, right?
we
No.
keep needing more women in STEM anyway. Like fucking
Yeah.
go for it. Who likes math here?
The
Crystal math, yeah.
crystal math.
Crystallize some math. No, no, but seriously, yeah, you love math. It's one of your
I
things,
do.
and I think you should be very proud of that. Do
I
I know the
literally
person
have
you were talking
3
about, by the
math
way?
books. I think so.
I is it the
You've
person
met
I'm thinking of in terms of EMS?
probably.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't
yeah.
think I know many other people in EMS.
I there's only one person who I know through you who is in
Yeah, then it's
in
them.
EMS. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm surprised they made that remark though. Yeah,
You don't know them as well as I do.
fair. Yeah.
But one cool thing is now I can swap like medical stories with them of patients being dumb as shit. I've multiple times. I've worked at the pharmacy like 3 weeks. At least once a week, somebody comes in thinking that if they pay cash, they can just get whatever they want,
Oh
as if it's not like controlled
my
substances.
god.
There was like, oh yeah, I need a refill on my like amlodipine or whatever it is. I don't even think that's what it was. It was a more controlled substance than that. And we were just like, oh, you don't have any more refills. We'll have to call your doctor. And he's like, no, you don't. I'll just pay for it. And it's like, you'd have to pay for it anyway, buddy. Like, you don't got good insurance. I can see it. Like, that's
Wasn't
not
it?
how this works. And this is like a fucking 50-year-old man. Like, they
Oh my
know
god.
they can't just pay for medications like that.
Is there? Isn't there? I swear. There's like a super common. I think it's there's a super common medication. I think it's for mental health. I don't want to. I don't want to necessarily say Xanax or Adderall, but like one of them's like effectively heroin, isn't it? Like, and so
Well,
or
that could be many medications.
so I'm thinking like you're not going up to a drug dealer here. There's a reason that it's being delivered in the way that it is, and it needs to be
Yeah,
under
like, we're
specific
not your
individuals.
hookup.
Yeah, exactly. Like how much money would he have had to slid under the desk?
Oh God, I don't think he had enough. The two
It's more than
medications together were probably easily over like 1,500 for
holy
just cash.
fucking shit.
Yeah,
I forgot you
that's
live in
for a month's
America.
supply.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How do you people live over there?
We don't. We die all the time.
Yeah, we just don't get
Ashley's
medical
got
care.
15 minutes to live.
Even if
So
we have insurance, we just don't get medical care because it's still too
Yeah,
expensive.
it, it's amazing how many times people come in, give me their insurance card, and it makes it worse. Like their insurance just
oh,
makes the situation worse for them.
I want to say I don't think I'll ever get tired of hearing medical stories. It's just like I'm so fascinated by like I'm I want to say this carefully. I'm so fascinated by like the inner like by people who know what they're talking about with the inner workings of the human body, but like for doing a good thing, fixing it.
Mhm.
It's really funny that this is the episode that happened after the cannibalism talk the other week. But like, no, but seriously, like I can't get enough of hearing, you know, pharmacists, EMTs, EMS or EMS, fucking surgeons especially carving into that shit, but
Yeah.
like carefully and knowing what you're doing,
If there's one
it's
message I
just
can give
insane.
to anybody, be on very friendly terms with your pharmacist. They're your
Oh
last
yeah.
line of defense from your stupid ass doctor. We've had to stop people from getting medications like 3 times because if they took both of the prescribed medications at the same times, they would just die. Like
Oh my
doctors
god.
just prescribe them shit that would just kill them.
That's fucked
I-
up. What the fuck?
Oh,
It's so fucking bad.
you have been responsible for someone's mortality how many times?
I'm not a pharmacist yet. It's not me. It's the pharmacist
Oh,
doing
right,
it.
right. You're right. You have been somewhere adjacent to someone who had to do that. That
There
didn't
have
do
been a
it.
couple times where I'm just like, this is more than like a lethal dose, right? Because they've been double ordered on one medication. And it's like, oh yeah, we need to change that. We need to not give them 3 months worth to take in 1 month.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also,
But
wait.
yeah, they're literally pharmacies are your last line of defense. Be friendly with them. Ask many questions. That's what they're there for.
Oh, of course. I honestly, especially when I'm getting like when I'm getting like a vaccine or something, like any kind of shot. Um, I really like asking what in any other situation would be an annoying amount of questions. Especially
Yeah.
because um, you know who I'm talking about. You know at least one person who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say their name, but I know like a few anti-vax people, and so I'm like, I'm very pro-vax, thankfully, but
Yeah, you
I
go in and
like
you're like, when does it get magnetic?
no, it's like I like asking enough questions that I know how to respond to that kind of person, other than just you're being dumb. Let the doctors do their thing. Just fucking ask questions. If you need, like, if you're concerned, ask questions. I don't think it's stupid to question doctors.
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's stupid to assume you know better than the doctors. But if it's like, hey, I want to know why I should trust you to know better than me, please, like, as far as this curiosity goes, and tell me if like the specific answer to this question would require months or years of schooling to get down to that part. But if there is a part you can explain efficiently, which there are a lot of those, there's a lot of doctors who would love nothing more than to break that down for you, especially if you're getting concerned. And
Yeah.
so it's a really fun conversation to have, especially when I need to be distracted from a needle going into my skin. I don't like that shit. But but yeah, I if you start talking to me or get me talking, then that's not and I yeah, because I hate needles going into my skin.
Yeah. Talk to your
Yeah.
medical professionals. But
Talk and
my
talk.
EMS friends I was talking about earlier, they because doctors they have too much in their brain. It's not that they're stupid, it's that they have so much going on in their brain. So things are going to slip through every now and then. Um, but that's what other people in the medical field are for, is to double check, triple check, quadruple check.
Hmm.
My friend had a story where there was somebody they were having to administer some kind of medication to them, and normally that medication is measured in micrograms. The prescription was milligrams, and that's no good. You don't want to mix those up. It would kill them to give them that much. So you go up to the
Is
doctor, it's like,
micrograms
hey,
just smaller?
yes,
Oh, okay.
um, much so. Um,
Yeah.
and they're like, hey, is this prescription correct? And they're like, "Oh yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be?" It's like, okay, I just wanted to make sure you wanted me to kill somebody today because that's what this will do, is kill them, and be nice to your medical professionals, or else they might not be nice to you.
It was just like a
It's the same
glowing
with
green liquid
people
in
who
syringe.
make you food. Be nice to the
Right.
people who make you food,
Just
or
be
else you'll need
nice.
to talk to a medical professional.
You want to know what makes it even easier? Just be fucking nice. How about that? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Also, we were talking about health insurance the other day. I'm not gonna ask for your insurance information, Lunar. If you're comfortable answering, what state do you live in?
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
What? We're fucking close. Holy shit.
Nice. Oh my God, you two should meet up. Yeah, yeah. But
I'm already tracking
yeah.
her
I
location.
I don't
Oh
Just
shit.
kidding.
remember why I asked that, but I guess it's because
Insurance.
well with insurance, no, because it's the thing is I don't know enough about like state to state insurance to actually know how to connect state name with like different prices for things. I walked off the edge of that cliff, but thank you for telling us, and I hope that your medical bills are okay. You know.
Oh, that's fine. It's just,
What I will say about
eh.
insurance is that they like causing a lot of problems for no fucking reason.
Oh yeah.
Even more so than you think. When you get half the time when you're getting a new insurance card for the year, um, depending on the insurance you have, the only thing that's different about that card is one digit in one number, but it fucks up all of your fucking medications. We can't do anything
Oh.
for you until you give us that number.
Oh fuck.
It fucking sucks.
How many people have died thanks to that one? Oh my God.
It's mostly how many people have had to wait like 30 more minutes for their medication
Oh,
than
30 more
normal.
minutes. Okay. I didn't
But
realize. Yeah.
it's like they'll come in and be like, "Oh, is my medication ready?" And it's like, "Do you have insurance?" Because we can't fill it until your insurance says that you're actually covered.
Hi.
Hello, person on
Hi.
stage.
It's good. This feels almost like an alien interaction. I enjoy that. But not sorry. I just realized that might have sounded insulting conceptual way. Uh, I apologize for that. It's good to see you. You can take a seat by one of the tables if you like. But yeah.
Oh, you're having a talk. You're doing a talk. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a talk show. That's what this is.
Yeah.
I don't know how obvious they make that on the events calendar. I just realized that. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, are you done talking about the medical stuff, or do you want to go further into it? Because
I think I've covered everything.
okay, because the topic that I wanted to bring up today has nothing to do with it, and it is a bit of a chonky one.
Hmm.
Um um so there's a lot of people in and out of VR that have misconceptions as to a lot of social VR platforms. Like, for instance, uh, people from the outside mostly only seeing like VR chat and maybe Rec Room and certain clips and getting the wrong impression. And even people in VR who have like allegiance to certain platforms because it's like maybe you don't want to bounce around all the time, and maybe then like stories go around about it when you do try other platforms and it doesn't go well, and then like things kind of flourish into rumors with different levels of foundation. What I'm trying to say is I want to break down, as someone who's spent a significant amount of time in each of the currently existing major and relevant platforms, like what each one kind of is, and some brief pros and cons. Do you think that we got the energy for that now?
Go for it.
Okay. Do you actually? I'm gonna ask you. Do you think we should start with banter or finish with banter?
I always finish to banter, so
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the obvious one, which is VR chat, because that's the one that the most people are in. That's the one that it's the one that has theoretically the most to offer as well. But yeah, it's the one that it's usually the first one people think about in terms of VR. Um, you may have heard a lot of stories about people going in there and finding, people saying some not so savory things. Gonna be honest, it's like if you go into the wrong public room in there, like the Great Pug or the Black Cat, then
Mm.
you'll really easily find like either a bully or just someone straight up shouting like slurs and shit. It is I wouldn't call it an intuitive experience to find a good and safe place in there. That being said, they exist. Not every part of it is overwhelming. Um, and yeah, so if you want to go to VR chat, it has a really complicated menu system because of how much it has to offer. And if you're just on a Quest standalone headset and not using it with linked to a PC, then there's some settings you'll have to tweak for performance reasons in order to load avatars as much as you might want to without crashing. That being said, through the group system, which is unfortunately recent, you can actually easier find groups of people that you can keep going to hang out with. Most of them probably know their own separate like worlds to go to, worlds to hop across that you can find. There's all sorts of magical, beautiful things that you can find. Probably feels like straight out of a AAA video game, a lot of them, or sometimes they're just stylistic and simplistic. You can have your home space set to whatever you want. People do events in there. It's not meant for it, like banter, but it like uh you worded it really well when you said events exist in VR chat despite despite the functions of the platform. Um, but they happen a lot. It's just not a built-in thing. Um, there's wide audiences there if you like going there for events, and especially if you have a set group to go with, there's so many games to play in there. There's oftentimes like movies to watch depending on what world you go into. Nice avatar, like essentially unlimited avatars to be in and chill in. It's a good general experience if you can get the hang of it. It is intimidating though. Before I move on to Rec Room, do you have any thoughts on VR chat?
Dude, I think we all know VR chat very well at this point.
Okay.
If you're here, you probably all know VR chat.
Because I'm assuming there might be at least a couple of you who haven't been in VR that long and maybe haven't been to VR chat in a really long time and only have like a certain impression of it, is what I'm trying to say.
VR
I like
chat.
VR chat. I think it's
So
good.
VR chat is one of those.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Despite its downfalls.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's one of those things that like it was one of the few VR things that felt like it was really progressing for a while, despite a lot of VR not doing that. Why is my hand over there?
mhm.
Talk about VR progressing.
Yeah.
But it got like a little bit more corporate-y, so I feel like it's kind of stagnated since then. But I mean, it's still good. I like going in there every now and then.
Yeah. The combination, the biggest I think issue with VR chat, it's like its greatest strength and its biggest weakness is that the size of the user base, the sheer size of it, and the creative freedom that you have in terms of building worlds, and creating avatars, which they have aside from very specific boundaries, have essentially no limits on. Like there's so many they have performance gradings, by the way, for avatars, and a lot of them are very poor just because that's what happens when you put a lot of functions and high def shit and particles on there. Um, and also they do have for the public spaces a moderation issue just because there's so many of them. But again, there is the more curated ones that have a wonderful time. I personally on Saturday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't help to organize this. I'm just someone who goes there frequently as a student. The Skits and Bits improv workshop. I can't sing its praises enough. If you want to learn about improv in general, try it out. It's completely free. If you want to just sit there and watch a group go through it, watch people learn about it, maybe watch some fun performances. They have a monthly show there as well. And that's like a really good example of a community in there. There's a bunch of those, but it's a really good example of a community that works well, moderating itself, and sustains a positive and encouraging and loving atmosphere. And especially oriented towards a goal. Everybody there just likes improv and wants to get more into it, and like adjacent art forms, including role play. Um, Next one I want to mention is one that I'm almost hesitant to mention just because it's so much in a separate category, and it's Rec Room, because here's the thing. If you don't have kids, then you're only gonna have fun in Rec Room if you go in with buddies, like in a private group, and usually in private, like in a new instance that is a private instance of a world, which you can also do in VR chat, private instances of worlds. Um, yeah, because the thing is, the user base, especially because it's so cartoony and it largely advertises to children, there is a lot of kids in there. And if you're a kid, it's a great environment. Hopefully, I've heard take this the right way. I've heard surprisingly few slurs the few times that I've been in public spaces in there. But just like it's usually just screaming is the worst problem. But they have laser tag, they have paintball, and they have a battle royale thing going on in there. They have excellent climbing mechanics, better than I've seen in most games, though Banter does emulate that pretty well. Um, and yeah, it's more of an enclosed experience. There is custom worlds, but like if you don't like the stylistic nature of Rec Room's tools, uh, you know, it won't look like a whole different thing like VR chat does. But it's for a very specific kind of audience. And another thing is it used to have a whole bunch of like, you could earn free stuff to wear on your avatar if you do certain challenges in certain rooms, like obstacle courses or fight, PvP rooms or whatever. You could earn enough points in that room to like put on a fun suit that they made. Now they have their own like microtransaction system, sort of like V-Bucks, but for Rec Room, where you actually have to pay for those things. And it's like usually a few bucks per, and it can really add up. And I'm not too keen on that, especially like I said, it specifically intended for kids, but and that can get kind of risky. But that's Rec Room. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Use Rec Room. I don't go in there.
Yeah, it's not a place that you would oh, and they also have an event system, but it's heavily censored. It's like it's not like something you would find here. We can say fuck. We could say like we can talk about I believe we could talk about sex in limited quantities. We haven't gotten quite clear the boundaries on there, but
Yeah.
we could vaguely do
Dude,
so. On
it's
Rec
just
Room, you
so
can't do that
censored.
at all.
We definitely couldn't promote piracy over there.
We
We
definitely
also
can't
can't do it
promote
here,
piracy.
but
We can't even talk about piracy. Um, we
we
can't.
we don't
But
promote it.
we do not promote it. Nope, but like we don't pirate things. But
Don't
we
do
can talk
illegal
about piracy.
activities.
Do not do illegal activities, but we can talk about piracy on here. You can do that also in VR chat. You can't do that in Rec Room, nor adult stuff because it's not the audience for it. Don't do that.
I
And
like how uncomfortable our figure in the sky was for just a
yeah.
moment.
Listen, we have gone over these boundaries. You have taught us the ways, Lunar.
Piracy is bad. It hurts developers. Buy your shit, okay? That's
In
the
all
official
seriousness, don't
word,
pirate
okay?
shit. Don't pirate shit. You need to support developers, especially in this space where there's a lot of developers who aren't in big conglomerates well yeah, they're just
You think
especially
that
with
Bob is
indie
watching the
games.
show right now, but he's actually
Support
just
our
holding the ban
friends in
button.
the Zion
Like
world.
just like especially with small developers who like will
Yeah,
really
yeah,
feel it. Don't pirate shit. But
Yeah,
you could
remember
talk
when we
about
used to
piracy.
only have one dev watching us?
Yeah, exactly.
I
One
the
confirmed
times.
death.
if you intend on buying something right and you just want to try it out, I'm sure I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do, but I'm
Yes,
sure there's some grey areas to
yeah.
some situations.
I'm not saying it's a moral
fair,
failure.
yeah.
I am saying it's illegal and we can't promote it.
Right, exactly.
Make sure you try and be
girl.
as morally good as you can.
Bob, I don't
Support
know
who you
that
care
Neo
about, my
dodged
friends.
bullets that
Support
well.
Who you care about.
That was very impressive, Bob. I don't know if that was heard on the stream. I hope it was. But Bob just did the best lawyer speak I think I've ever heard for somebody who. Anyway,
I'm just giving the banter side quest slash official take on the situation, but you guys are good to it's all good.
wonderful.
Good to Bob.
See, I like having devs in here because we'll very quickly know if we did something wrong.
Yeah. And one that what's really funny is I forgot the name for a while and I was stalling by going to the other two first. Um, uh, I wanted to mention because I went in there for a while, and it's surprisingly popping off over the past few
Mhm.
months. Horizon Worlds.
I forgot that
Because
existed.
everybody who I know who like for perspective, by the way, I've been in VR about 6 years now. Ashley, you've been in a handful.
Like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like everybody who I know who's been in a while makes fun of Horizons. And justifiably, there's like a lot of stuff that there's a lot of tools that Horizons doesn't have that would be excusable if there weren't so many other platforms that have already done them just fine before it, but they don't feel like it, and they want a more simplified experience, I think. The biggest problem I think Horizon has, aside from the watchful eye of the Zuck, is the fact that you're only going to find headsets from one brand on there. You're gonna find Rift users and Quest users, which is, I mean, most people anyway. But yeah, if you got an Index or something like that, unfortunately, unless you, I mean, you could probably use Revive if you really want to get in there. But yeah, we're not encouraging it though because that's probably against the TOS of that platform. Uh, but what was I saying? Oh yeah,
No, I don't
in
care.
terms of
We're
the
not
actual
that platform.
content, yeah. Well, I don't,
We can't break their terms of service if we never agreed.
yeah. Um,
We're not
oh,
on
but
it.
in terms of the actual content of Horizon Worlds, there is a shocking amount of excellent people that I have met in there that come in consistently. There's some fun things to do, games to play. There's Super Rumble, which is like a fun little, arena shooter. You could shoot you could this is just a shooting game with your buddies. There's like an Among Us style roommates game. There's a few things, and the community makes a lot of games. There's one called Action Island that's a little closer to a Fortnite sort of thing. Um, and I think the most popular kinds of spaces are either concerts or bars that are just like chat spaces. I'm actually a moderator for one of them in there called Black Magic. And yeah, there's just, while yes, there's kids who make it in and there's trolls, just like with any platform, there's decent moderation tools. Um, Unfortunately, because I've had this conflicted thing with Horizon Worlds where where I love a lot of the people I've met in there, but I found it's statistically, weirdly, way more likely to find someone very right wing on there. Um, and not even just like a straight up, like you can tell right away that's a MAGA head over there, but like someone who will just casually slide into the conversation. Why do they need a parade or something? Or something about how like white privilege doesn't exist, which it does. Um, and it's not everywhere, but it's a thing. And one of the benefits to Horizon is that because it's catered to one specific headset and it's a standalone headset, it is a more consistently performant experience than most apps that I've seen, especially with as many people as I'll see in one room. It also has an enclosed avatar system, a lot like Rec Room, that you can make custom stuff for Rec Room. It has an enclosed avatar system where they just have a growing amount of things you can do with it, like outfits you can get free and paid. And it's not through a virtual currency, thankfully, because that can muddy it. But yeah, you could put on some fun outfits, all different body types. It's not that many, but it's a wide variety. Um, and yeah, it's just, if you want one you could just plop on your headset and it's just easier to get to, though you might get bored quicker. Horizon Worlds is I think a okay option. Last but not least, we have the one that we are currently residing in, which is Banter. And to be clear, we have a much closer relationship with the people who run Banter than we do with anybody who runs
Yeah, we
any of
almost
these
get
other
banned on a
platforms.
weekly basis.
Yeah, exactly. We have actual
It's
like
a
we have
very
two
close relationship.
we have two real staff members in the room right now in the audience. Though one of them, I don't know if they're on duty. I that's oh, okay. You're not okay.
I
Um,
presume I would really hope that their job really isn't just to check in on us.
I wouldn't be
No,
that
no,
surprised
I'm
at this
here.
point.
I'm here for fun. It's all good. Just leisure. Just here.
Oh,
Just
that's so
chilling.
sweet. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so we are biased in the way that we personally know these people, and take that for what it's worth. But there, so for the avatars, I want to say first and foremost, there is a service called Ready Player Me where you can make avatars for your custom avatars simplified for yourself for a bunch of different social VR apps. The avatar I most use in VR chat is a Ready Player Me one, different from this. That's what I use for shows that I do in VR chat. In here, Ready Player Me is the only avatar options that has like expanded a little bit, but it's still within the Ready Player Me system. It is the only across the entire platform physics-based social VR platform. If you run into somebody, it will have some, physics, some resistance. If you pull on somebody, for better and for worse, it will affect their body. You can high five people and all that, and you can stack on top of each other with your hands, especially. There is, like in Rec Room, but less restricted, a dedicated event system in here. That's actually exactly what we're sitting in currently. It relies on it relies on having multiple instances if you have if you have enough people in the room. One thing I'm really fascinated by with Banter that I haven't seen in any of the others is if you're going to another instance of the same room, and by instance, if you don't know, if you haven't spent much time in VR, or if you've never been and you're watching the video, is if too many people are in one space, or if it's reached its maximum occupancy and a person tries to enter after that, there will be called an overflow instance or a second instance, whatever people want to call it, where it will separate the extra people into there, and it'll theoretically keep doing that with more and more spaces as long as it needs to. With most platforms, you load into it like it's a whole other world if you are switching between instances. In Banter, you see the world the same, just the people, like the people in it change. Like you'll see a different population in there, but to you it'll look like all the people got in there instead of you going to a different place. Um, the user base isn't as big as any of the other three, but I will say uh, that hand in hand, it's easier for them to moderate, and it's a generally more chill experience. I think the worst experience I've had in Banter was that I found a whole bunch of crowds of people who were talking about things that I had nothing to say about. That was my worst thing.
How
I've
dare
maybe
they?
met two trolls in here. That's fine. Of course, talk about whatever you want. But I'm like my personal anxiety is the only thing that's really kept me from it here. Also, this is a much earlier platform. Keep in mind, and I think there's even a UI overhaul that they um talked about that they haven't done yet. Yeah, I'm getting a nod. And so it's gonna get even more polished from here on out. It's got good direct support, communication with devs. Um, it's just it's and the hands are a little weird, I will say. Even compared to the other platforms. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really, that's
I don't like the hands. They're
yeah,
getting fixed. Everything's the hand placement, the colliders. It's all getting fixed. It's not right. So yeah, it's coming
yeah.
soon.
Also, Banter is a lot easier as well to run independently on a headset, though I will say because it is in such an early state, it's easier to crash from this app than the other ones. Um, it happens, I don't know, once every couple sessions. It's gotten less often lately for me, but it does happen. There's beautiful worlds to hop between here. There's a light show that I know about that's an official Banter event, I'm pretty sure. And it's like when you see a video screen suspended in midair across a night sky, but they key out the black parts, and I've always been fascinated by that. And then there's a Just Dance event that I like going to, um, that that you could do that in almost any of these apps if you have a browser for YouTube, but they have people organized to do it here, because they have there's a certain group of people that I've noticed, just a bunch of people who, depending on if they're available that day, will just flow from event to event. And then so when those people end up in the Just Dance event. It's just like you're dancing with a bunch of people, and you don't have to know what dance moves to do. It's on the screen if unless you feel like doing your own, and that's something I have fun with. A perfect platform, certainly not, but good communication with devs, and yeah, it's in an early state. There's not too much you could say about it beyond that. Do you have any thoughts on anything that I brought up here?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the one I'm in now. I didn't go to the other ones after Altspace died, so
Yeah.
that's
I kept
something.
having to forget. I kept having
It's
to remember not to bring
it's
up alt space.
better than Altspace. Whatever you think that means, go ahead with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will
In
say.
my
So you-
unbiased opinion, I would have to say that Banter is clearly the best platform out of all of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
unbiased.
Yeah. And so yeah, we actually don't have any staff in the room. Don't worry about that. We're not. And Ashley, do you have a wire?
Always.
Oh, okay. Wait,
They
who's
don't let me
protecting?
out without one.
Who's they?
Hey,
I
who
want to
knows
know who
where we'll
they
be in
is.
7 years, right? That's how long the others have had right now, isn't it? About 7 years, 5 to 7 years on some of them. So
5 to 7 years
Yeah.
for what?
we'll get there. Rec Room
Banter.
VR chat. That's how long they've been
What?
out already.
Wait,
And they
Rec
haven't
Room and
changed
VR.
in the last 5 of those years.
Wait, what's
Yeah,
happening to
well,
Rec Room and
like,
VR chat?
yeah. No, I'm just saying how long. Like I said, who knows where we'll be? Like in the
Oh,
same
who knows
duration
where
that
we'll
those
be?
two
No,
games
VR
have been
chat
out.
released in
Yeah.
2014, so it's actually their 10th year now.
I thought you meant where we're
Yeah, so there you
going
go.
is every single person in VR
We're
chat and
going all the
VR
way.
chat and Rec Room
No,
will
no.
have a wire on that because I heard that directly
Yeah.
after and I'm like, where are you going with this?
See,
Uh,
we're already
No,
there,
sorry.
so
yeah, I am connected by a wire to my outlet because of my headset. You know, there's
I am a glance away from having Mark Zuckerberg looking at all of my data. It's
I
already gone.
You know how like you know how when you kiss somebody, you make a really long tube where the ends are two buttholes. If when you're in
we
VR,
didn't need that.
you,
We-
you know, with VR, there's just a direct line from my power outlet, which I could use a standalone. I just don't want to. There's a direct line from my power outlet all the way to my corneas, and and like half my senses. I don't know where I was going with that. It felt appropriate.
Yeah.
definitely did
welcome.
feel like it came from two assholes.
It did.
Banter is going all the way, and you're
Yeah.
coming with us.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. There's lots of friendly people in here, and there's I want to say I don't know if I've emphasized this enough. There's incredible. Ooh, there we go. There's incredible people on every single one of these platforms, and incredible groups that have formed on every single one of them. Can you keep up with all of them? Probably not. Would anybody expect you to? Hopefully not. But you
I
know,
expect you
you
to.
just thank you. You expect that's so sweet. Oh, I don't know if that's sweet actually.
No, as a threat.
as a threat. Yeah. No.
It's a threat.
But yeah. Just there's good stuff to see everywhere. It's just it's the internet. You're gonna find bad shit everywhere. But because I just know that a lot of people, especially gonna be honest, especially with VR chat, talk a lot of shit about it as if it's like there's no redeeming qualities. And I feel like that could get into like a bad game of telephone where someone legitimately thinks like it's like any platform is just completely a source of terrible shit, which applies to absolutely none of them. And there's great people on every single one,
Except
and
for
there's stuff
Banter.
to do everywhere. Except for Banter, they can't get their shit
I can't
together.
fucking stand them.
It's just unforgivable. But yeah, speaking of which, I have a show on Friday 6 p.m. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before the show, but like my perspective on a lot of VR is really like whatever, because it just seems like somehow the slowest growing media or medium of all fucking time. I don't know. It feels like ever since I got VR, I've been using the same fucking apps and not very much has changed, or it's gotten worse. And I'm
Wait.
kind of fucking
at the Sistine Chapel. 4 years. So it's taking longer than it took to be. You can stop now. It's just keep it going. It's taking longer to get a decent, like, consistently working virtual desktop app
Virtual
than
desktop
it
apps
did to print.
fucking suck, and the best one is the one that hasn't changed in 5 years.
Oh God, I get really okay. I get a weird kind of angry at Immersed. I've told you pieces of this. Just because it has so many beautiful tools. Immersed is basically a productivity app that has like a fleshed out virtual desktop part of it. It's intended for work, but I think it is a beautiful, beautiful app with some incredible functionality. But I'm so mad that it's like it. If you just get one little tech difficulty, you can domino effect really quick, and it's some people use it and use it really consistently and swear by it because it just works for them as intended, and that's beautiful. And then there's people like me who it's like, oh, you keep having like these little glitches along the way and tech issues that get in your way of it, and it's a very vulnerable experience. I've noticed it's a very like precarious one, but I love the concept so much, and I love how it works for those other people, and it makes me frustrated because I'm like, this is a beautiful app that just sometimes doesn't work as needed.
It
Yeah.
just really feels like, and we have devs, so if I'm completely incorrect, maybe I could be enlightened, but it just feels like the base of VR and how you make things in it, despite like everything working generally in the same way, just is so fragile that two of the same headset can work completely differently from one another.
Yeah.
And it just,
Yeah.
it seems like we're just getting further and further from a convergent experience in VR that it's made me not want to go in VR, where it's just like I use my Quest 3 for virtual desktop only, and if virtual desktop could give me two fucking desktops at the same time, I wouldn't need to use anything else because it works exactly as I need it to. How fucking hard is it to get that? Why can't I get that? Why does VR fucking suck? I hate this place.
Has the multiple.
Yeah, but then it
um,
doesn't fucking work on my
that
headsets.
doesn't fucking work. That's true.
I have tried to load up Immerse so much, and it never fucking works. And then I load up VR or the virtual desktop once, and it works perfectly forever.
Welcome to welcome to a VR talk show where this entire episode we spend shit talking about VR.
I hate VR.
Uh,
Come to my show in VR.
we're gonna have a chat about we're gonna have a 4 hour long chat about our queer and genderqueer lives in the deep south. That's what we're gonna do.
Where the fuck did that come from?
The deep south of
Well, no,
Canada is not
never
that
mind.
threatening of a
I guess
place.
Okay.
never
Okay.
mind. No, because you're like, oh, I guess no, that one's the other way around. Because like you're theoretically doing a show on a platform, not on a platform, on a headset, on a device that you hate, but then in the other instance, it'd be other people hating you.
Okay, I see where it
Yeah,
connects now. I get
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you. No, yeah, no problem.
Fuck VR. Why can't it be good?
Love you,
I know.
VR. Get
We're
better.
all still working towards it, and I can't expect perfection. But can I just have virtual desktop have two fucking desktops at once?
I think you should be able to have that tomorrow. But I will say
I
that
think I should be able to have that 5 fucking years ago.
I think that is true. But will also say, in terms of just general problems with VR and things that keep it from becoming mainstream, I think VR is one of the hardest things to convert the things we already know we like into. I think VR is one of the most abstract possible environments for creative consumption and getting shit done. And so it's like it's a venue that While, yeah, there's a lot of people who could have like done development on it like quicker by now. It's a thing that's really hard. We take for granted a lot of VR games that work well. It takes a lot how to figure out to how to get from a console game with a controller and a screen, mouse and keyboard and a screen, and everything being laid out on that screen, which is already a full-time job, understanding UI design and incorporating that. But then now having that all around you and having to make it make sense and not be overwhelming, but also not be hard to notice. And so I do agree, but I have a lot of sympathy for VR developers
Yeah.
because it is just a whole other fucking thing.
It's not that I'm angry at developers. I'm more angry at the manufacturers who make the underlying hardware and software that these developers have to work with. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we're gonna get GTA 6 before we get good VR.
GTA San
Honestly,
Andreas
that probably is-
VR. Where's that?
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I did have another. I think the other topic would take like longer than we have energy for. So do you want to cut it?
Yeah, we have 9 minutes before we would normally end. So
Yeah. So do you want to end on a
remember
lighter
to
note?
talk
or
to
no?
your pharmacists.
Talk to your pharmacist. Ask questions when you're getting things put inside your body, and I mean that in every context.
Shut the stream down.
Yeah.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah.